Welcome to the CX Sessions from the Customer Experience Innovation Institute. Every episode, we provide an innovative perspective on customer experience from the people who are changing your world, one experience at a time.
Welcome back to the CX Sessions from Melbourne in Australia. I'm your host, Simon Chris, and joining me today is Marianne Withers, who's in Havant in the UK. Marianne, welcome to CX Sessions.
Thank you, Simon. It's lovely to be here.
It was great to meet you recently, face to face. I'd love for you to just start by telling people a little about yourself. What is it that you do? What's your journey? How have you gotten to where you are in CX today?
It's a long journey because I'm nearly 59. But my journey actually started where I worked for the council with CX because I was on the actual front line. So no glass in between us and the public, and 5% of the public were wonderful, and 5%, let's say, weren't. And in my time there, my colleague got a phone put in her face, and I got chased around the advice centre by someone sent flying and had my leg broken. So let's just say it taught me the most wonderful customer service ever. The people that you were dealing with were just a massive variety, and they were having problems with housing and all those different elements. So, you never knew what you were going to get from one minute to the other. And the fact is, you were face to face with them, and they could reach you over the desk if they wanted to. And on occasion, they did.
On occasion, they wanted to, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't happy when my friend had a phone put in her face because she was 6 months pregnant. But the person at the other end didn't seem to care because they were on the transfer list and they had 2 years to wait, but they wanted it now. Of course.
Funny how in CX everybody wants what they want now.
Yes.
Seems to happen quite a bit.
Yes, it does.
You run the Verity Centre, and I'd love to hear a little bit about what the Verity Centre does, and what industries do you play in?
Okay, so the Verity Centre is a boutique contact centre, and we do all the normal things that all the big BPOs do. We'll do inbound voice, outbound voice, SMS, live chat, social. So we cover all elements. We have that, the highest level of state-of-the-art omni-channel technology. Because when we started trading a year and 8 months ago, we have a blank piece of paper to be able to put in whatever we want. And also the point is our background isn't, that we've jumped into the industry. I've been in senior management for over 30 years. And, if we put together the small management team and our non-exec as well, we're over 90 years experience and knowledge in the contact center industry.
Yeah, that's a fair bit.
Yeah, well, when you consider that's within about 5 people, it's not bad at all. And so what it meant, it's more about the reasons why the Verity Centre was set up and, what we were doing to put something together that actually meant a huge amount around the word excellence and striving for excellence. Because I've spent most of my life, when I got out of working for the council and decided I didn't want to be part of there because I probably could have got rid of about 50% of the workforce and done better and transformed with the other 50% and then be more effective and efficient. So at some time I kind of went, no, I'm moving over into private enterprise and got into outsourcing in Golly Slater. But that was back in 1992.
Okay.
And, over the years, I've spent most of my time either being asked by people to build things or sort things out.
Right.
One of the things you also kind of realise in talking to me is I talk very basic kind of language. I can talk flowery rhetoric to the art come home if I really, really want to. However, what I'm trying to do is engage with workforce, suppliers, and people, and I want to engage with them on how they want to, and not at times make them feel a little bit silly because they don't always know all the jargon that you're actually talking about. So it is about that whole, and our strapline is a respectful approach to communication.
Okay.
And so it's taking all the things over the years where I spent so many times, as I say, going in, sorting things out, but also when consultants have been brought in and it's, let's say, not gone the way that they wanted it to, then they pick up the phone to me and go, now, Marianne, can you come in and sort it out? And I spent 2.5 years when the listening company sold out to Serco. I was brought in to help them achieve certain amount of revenue, because if they did, they were going to get an extra 15 million, on their price. And I went in, and the first thing I was asked to do was go around all these projects over the UK and either put them on target or put them in the black, or on some cases, put them in the black and put them on target at the same
As
time.
well.
And what I was looking at that time is these big BPOs are supposed to, they say they do all this. They do all the wondrous thing. And there are some absolutely great ones out there, but I've been into quite a number of them over the years. And I've just always found that my idea of excellent and high standard is actually very, very different to a lot of people. And if anyone who knows me and works with me would all back me up on that and tell you, is that it's not I'm a complete perfectionist, but all I want to do is do the best and add value constantly. So my brain is constantly going over, what can we do to improve this? What can we do to make it better? So that's the whole point of the Heritage Centre.
So can I pick up on that for a moment? With all the work that you've done across all of these different contact centres, these different CX workforces, in trying to make them back in the black, and trying to make them better, if you were to think about the top 3 things that you would want to make sure that every contact centre, BPO, maybe not, what are the 3 things in your head that people should make sure they go after if they're looking for excellence? Where does it start?
It starts with leadership and the ethos and culture of the company, and it always will do. I sat on a very interesting research lately in regard to it was about agile working, and could you take the Scrum Master out of the Scrum if everyone did their job in the right way and with the right capability. And we got down to the point that the fact is that in an ideal world, with an ideal team of everyone absolutely brilliant with all the best work ethic, then yes, you could do it. But if you didn't have that, you always need leadership to be able to put the culture in, the ethos and everything to be able to drive forward, what you want to get. So, that it would always be a big, any company I've gone into, and you can see the massive difference when the CEO and the senior management team are really part of what is going on and feel what is going on. And it just flows through the whole contact center and the whole company completely. The other thing is, and every place I've ever gone into, I've had to, I was going to say rejuvenate, not the right word, actually transform completely the recruitment strategy.
Right.
And I find that it's quite a big issue in a lot of companies.
So why do you find that they're broken? What aren't they doing right? What should the listeners be thinking about?
It drives in with the culture, and it's what they're trying to portray out. I can give you an example, but this is from a number of years ago. I went into a company and they had a project and they had hired, I think it was 40 people, and they lost in the first week 20.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of the things they asked me to do was actually review the whole kind of recruitment, what was happening. So I kind of went in and said, right, okay, I'll be part of all of it with you. I'll sit in on your interviews, and then what we'll do is we'll swap over. I'll do the assessments and interviews, and let's kind of review and see what the difference is. Because I said, I'm not going to just say we need to do this, but I value your opinion on the way I'm actually doing it. And the big difference was I was very open and very honest to people. I told them what the job actually was, what the mundane parts were, the difficulties that they were going to have to go over. And then I said about all the benefits, everything.
Of course.
They portrayed it as a wonderful, social, fantastic place, and that you all get together and you have yes, this is the job, but the job was not portrayed as much as it could be. So you will have seen it over the years. How many people go to jobs, leave very quickly, and they say because it's not what they thought the job was.
Yeah.
So my thing is a lot to do is, but it's again, it's about that whole approach. Verity means truth and principles. So my thing is about openness, honesty, tell absolutely, exactly what the project is, and be just honest to people. And you have a complete change. And I remember those, the head of recruitment said to me, oh, it's ridiculous, we're not going to get the people. And I kind of went, right, here we are. Here's an example. You've done this, 40, lost 20. I've just looked after a project down in Portsmouth. 6 months, we hired, 55 people, and we lost 3 in 6 months. I went, 40, you lost 20 in a week. I said, so there's the difference.
Yeah.
So, but it all interlinks with, and it's the big one that I'm going to say, is people. There is huge amounts on LinkedIn. I think huge is probably not the right word, because it is ridiculously massive, of posts all about, people constantly. We love our people. We're engaged with our people. And this is our strategy. These are our processes, our policies. The thing is that's great to have at a very high level, that they're all written, but you have to, again, with the ethos and culture, drive them through the company. And you need to be making sure that you're, in outsourcing, client delivery directors, operations managers, team managers are all developed and educated, and I'd actually bought into that ethos and culture, that people are very really matter.
Okay. So it just seems like a lot of what you're talking about is the people side, is the, for want of a better term, employee experience. And that resonates because a lot of the people that I talk to on CX sessions say the same thing. Most people that have been in the industry for more than 5 minutes really kind of understand that EX equals CX. If your people are happy, they give great customer service. Across my career, I've come across a lot of call center managers in particular that are working inside a large bank or a large telco or whatever it might be. And they always say, oh, I should leave this and set up a BPO and I'd kill the industry. So as someone that has just set up a BPO a year and a half ago, right on the back end of COVID, of all timings to do it, What's your advice to people who are thinking about leaving and setting up a BPO? Is it just an outright don't do it, or is it go follow your dream?
Um, no, I wouldn't say go follow your dream, because the one thing about it is that um, it is a very, very tough market, and I would say if you had an absolutely gorgeous big pot of gold at the end of your garden and you have a lot of money to support you, then fine, because your first number of years is going to be very challenging. It's going to be up and down, um, because even though I've been quite known in the UK industry for all of these years, it's not about me. It's about the Verity Centre, and that is what people are hiring. So, what I spent the first 5 months of doing when we actually, because we incorporated 1st of March 2021, and I never hired any people until August, because I always had in mind that we start trading end of September, and in fact we were 2 weeks ahead of that. But I spent the whole time, I set up the place, I set up the tech, so I set up all of that. But then I brought in my management team who were going to write the processes and all that. But you're talking about is, one, you really need the experience, not over one area. You have to be able to really understand operations, finance, compliance, quality, training, every recruitment, every element, IT. So, because you can't hire people, because when you're small, you have to be able to juggle quite a number of balls. So what I would say is, I'd love to be able to say is go follow your heart and absolutely do it. However, you need the finance behind you to do that, because it is quite challenging and it is very
Yeah,
up and down, because you need to build a brand and you need to build a reputation. And I
sure.
would say we're at an absolute pivotal moment at this time, that we've done a lot of work on the brand, as you can see behind, and
And your lovely new website, which I just saw.
thank you. Yes, and thank you very much to our partners to do with was it Stubborn Edge, because we're an appointed representative, so we can do regulated work for finance insurance industry, and they're our authorised partner. And they actually helped us with all of the
They helped
website, which
out.
was absolutely fantastic.
I hear you talking about having to know recruitment and training and quality and WFM and merchandising and marketing and everything. I get this sense that there might be a book sitting in your head. We just need to get it out and get it on paper. All of these experiences, with everything that
Um,
you with everything that
I
you
think
have
there could
done,
be
and
a few books. Some of them maybe not go to market. I think I have quite a lot of stories from over the years, and maybe some people may go, "No, Marianne, don't put that in there."
so just referencing all of that background and where you are today, I really enjoyed talking with you, catching up in Glasgow, and I'd love to know your take on the future. If you looked into your crystal ball, what do you see happening in the world of CX, be that call center or not?
Um, I think a group of people need to get together and make it come, decide to make real change. And the reason I would say that is because the CX industry needs a huge amount of change.
What do you
However,
mean by that? What type of change?
I think we have to look at companies and we have to understand their strategies for customer experience. What actually does really matter? Is it completely your bottom line, or do your customers actually matter? Because to be honest, if you don't have customers, you don't have revenue. However, there's always balance, Simon, in a company, your profit and loss, but, your profit, how much profit do you want to make? Could you actually cut a tiny bit of that profit off and actually be pouring it into your customer service teams? It's always classed as a non-profit centre, but actually it is a profit centre because totally they are your customers. If your customers are not happy, then they'll go. And considering I have just had the most hideous time, and I don't mind saying it, with BT over the last month. I'm talking about 3 hours of telephone calls, people not turning up, and again at home yesterday. And when I have a look at it, is it because they're just so big and they're just so far estranged to what is actually happening within their company? But my difficulty is and I spoke to a few people when we were in Glasgow. A lot of the things that we were talking about, some people there seemed kind of like as though it was a new problem that has creeped up over pandemic and is getting worse. But it's not, because a lot of these problems, especially the recruitment and the retention problems, the general kind of development and training and educating people in customer experience, we were talking about this in the 90s, and nothing has really, all of the things, especially the retention and recruitment one, that's not moved forward at all. So I think what I would like to see in the future is people stopping talking about it. Oh no, they can carry on talking about it, but actually let's do something about it. And maybe it would take, a group of us to really get together to be able to go out and support companies. But companies need to understand what is their real priority. Also, looking at it from a tech side of it, I absolutely love tech. I had an inner geek in me since I was like 5, and I will put tech solutions in at the forefront, absolutely. However, only making sure that they work completely and in line and melded into the actual customer experience. So there's no point in companies going, wow, we've got a new bit of tech, absolutely brilliant. We're going to add this into our customer journey. We're going to make it easier for our people, but then it doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
And then you get people angry and you get annoyed, and then your call rates increase in the contact center because people are annoyed and they're trying to contact you more. We keep going and saying about, calls, voice will decrease, but actually it's not decreased really much at all over the last number of years, and just people end up calling more because they get annoyed. So, the future of it, if we don't actually sit down and do something about it, then in 10 years we'll be having the same conversations that we are having now and that we had in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, I have to say, in Glasgow, I spent a bit of time talking with our joint good friend Peter Ryan, and Peter and I have known each other for more years than we probably should have. He keeps calling it 20, and I have to keep picking him up that it's actually 30. And we were talking about how some of the conversations that, to your point, some of the conversations that were being held in Glasgow, we held at a conference in Egypt about 25 years ago, and it was the exact same discussion. So I absolutely take your point, Marianne. I do. Let's change gears a little. I have 3 questions that I love to ask everybody that I interview. And the first one is, for you personally, what makes a great customer experience, or have you had one recently? I'll leave the BT thing out of it, but that's kind of at the other end of the scale. What does a good customer experience look like for you?
I think it's a company understanding what customer experience is all about. It's that whole journey. Every interaction is the customer service level. The whole journey with you is the customer experience. So my great customer experience is how I'm treated before I join them, is how I want to be treated throughout.
Interesting.
And actually, that they actually like. And I can give, an example in the IT industry, okay? They put so much money into their business development, and honestly, they schmooze you, they love you, they want you to buy their tech, and it's all kind of, oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Then when you actually take their tech, that journey is not the same at all, because they work completely on lean. And we'll talk about, most tech solution companies have the leanest of leanest support, and that is where your challenges are. And and anyone who listens to this, any BPO, any corporate company that has tech solution will just all go, oh my God, yeah, absolutely. And the whole point of customer experience, it's before, it's when you're taken on, it's that whole journey, and that they don't want to let you go, that they actually really value you as a customer. And I'm just trying to think of any great customer experience.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I find it difficult because insurance companies don't do it at all. I mean, they're very happy, take your business, leave you alone, contact you for renewal, and put your price up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was once asked in a job interview, of all things, if you had to shut down sales or service, which one would it be? And my initial response was, well, why are they separate? Why are they two different things? But if I had to shut one down, it would be sales. And the CEO said, that's an interesting answer. Why would you shut down sales? I said, because if you get the sale right, you get one sale. You get service right, you'll get 100 sales. So I want to hit you with the third and final question, the important one. What book are you reading right now, or what is influencing you right now?
Okay, so oddly, I'm not reading a book at the moment, because by the time you finish doing work, actually sitting down for an hour or so and watching something. And so what's been influencing me? I'm watching House.
Okay.
Probably for the third time, but I find it fascinating. And when the influencing wise, okay, not the kind of maybe the difficulty he can be and all that, but it's his pursuit of finding the real solution. And actually, it's really quite interesting. And actually, how he reacts to other people, and how actually he still gets his team very engaged in what they do, but with the complete pursuit of saving a person's life, and actually really finding out and drilling down what the real problem is.
Awesome. Well, Marianne, thank you so much for making time. I know it's early in your day there, so I appreciate you joining us. And thanks for being on CX Sessions.
Thank you, Simon. It's been great.
That's it for this session. Let us know what you think or recommend someone for a future session at cxii.com.au. This podcast is brought to you by the Customer Experience Innovation Institute. Thanks for joining us, and tune in again soon to hear more CX sessions.